and welcome to Jesus Christ Prison Ministry and another video Bible study. Our topic, Deuteronomy chapter 24. If a man marries a woman who becomes displeasing to him because he finds something indecent about her, and he writes her a certificate of divorce, gives it to her and sends her from his house, and if after she leaves his house, she becomes the wife of another man, and her second husband dislikes her and writes her a certificate of divorce, gives it to her and sends her from his house, or if he dies, then her first husband who divorced her is not allowed to marry her again after she has been defiled. That would be detestable in the eyes of the Lord. Do not bring sin upon the land the Lord your God is giving you as an inheritance. Our states, our families, our homes are becoming detestable to the Lord. Sexual sins are bringing the wrath of God upon us. It is time to return to God for his blessings. Otherwise, the catastrophes, the fires, the earthquakes, the tsunamis, the flooding, all these things are going to get worse. If a man has recently married, he must not be sent to war or have any other duty laid on him. For 1 year, he is to be free to stay at home and bring happiness to the wife he has married. God has always had our best interest at heart. He loves us. He created us. It is his desire to bring us the greatest joy that we could experience. His laws are set up not to inhibit us, not to hurt us, but to bring us those joys. It is when we fight against those laws to do what may seem momentarily to be of great pleasure, but in the end, they only bring us sorrow. Only God knows what is best. If we obey him, our lives will be happy. Do not take a pair of millstones, not even the upper one, as security for a debt, because that would be taking a man's livelihood as security. Again, justice. God is a God of love and justice. We are to have mercy on people, to care for people. If a man is caught kidnapping one of his brother Israelites and treats him as a slave or sells him, the kidnapper must die. You must purge the evil from among you. Same today. Those that are raping, kidnapping, murdering, all right, they must die. We must purge the evil from us. We must not glorify them. Okay? Today the victim becomes glorified. Oh, all he was doing was stealing some cigars. All he was doing was beating up but he's the victim because of his race, his color, his sexual priority. You see, the problem is we're making sin enjoyable while the righteous are being denounced. God is going to be the avenger. He's bringing justice. That's why all of the problems that are taking place in the world today. In cases of leprosy, leprous diseases, be very careful to do exactly as the priests, who are Levites, instruct you. You must follow carefully what I have commanded them. Remember what the Lord your God did to Miriam along the way after you came out of Egypt. It is an interesting thing in the Bible to note that the Levites not only were the spiritual doctors, but also the physical doctors. Our spiritual life is very much attached to our physical life. If we want to have good health, then we need to live physically right. That's why I live as a vegetarian. I want my body to be fed with the best of foods so that it can be spiritually blessed. But also, leprosy is an allegory for sin. We must do exactly what God's ministers, of course we have to be sure that the people who call themselves ministers or pastors or priests or whatever are of God. If they are teaching you to stop sinning, be perfect, and keep the Ten Commandments, they are of God. We must do exactly what those people who have our best interest at heart spiritually tell us what to do. That is why God raised up this ministry, to help you to cleanse the leprous sin out of your life. When you make a loan of any kind to your neighbor, do not go into his house to get what he is offering as a pledge. Stay outside and let the man to whom you are making the loan bring the pledge out to you. If the man is poor, do not go to sleep with his pledge in your possession. Return his cloak to him by sunset so that he may sleep in it. Then he will thank you, and it will be regarded as a righteous act in the sight of the Lord your God. In all that we do, be merciful, be kind, be righteous. Let us not try to get over on anybody. Okay? Let's not use anybody as a stepping stone to improve ourselves, our financial worth, or our position in life. No. Humble ourselves and lift up others. Be good to others and watch the Lord bless in your life. Do not take advantage of a hired man who is poor and needy, whether he is a brother Israelite or an alien living in one of your towns. Pay him his wages each day before sunset, because he is poor and is counting on it. Otherwise he may cry to the Lord against you, and you will be guilty of sin. It is important. Justice in all things, a living wage, okay? But then again, those working are not to be spending extravagantly, not to be selfish. They also are to be giving to the poor. It's a cycle. We all must be giving. Fathers shall not put to death for their children, nor children put to death for their fathers. Each is to die for his own sin. Again, justice. I am not to be held accountable for my father's sins. He is not to be held accountable for mine. I am responsible for my life. There needs to be more messages on responsibility in our churches. We need to teach people, take responsibility for their lives. Get up, get out, go to work. Take responsibility, get sin out of your life. Do not deprive the alien or the fatherless of justice, or take the cloak of the widow as a pledge. Remember that you were slaves in Egypt, and the Lord your God redeemed you from there. That is why I command you to do this. Those of us who have been delivered from sin, the Egyptian sin, we know how difficult it is, and so our duty, it is our joy, our privilege to help others to come out of the Egyptian sins. When you are harvesting in your field and you overlook a sheaf, do not go back to get it. Leave it for the alien, the fatherless, and the widow, so that the Lord your God may bless you in all the work of your hands. When you beat the olives from your trees, do not go over the branches the second time. Leave what remains for the alien, the fatherless, and the widow. When you harvest the grapes in your vineyard, do not go over the vines again. Leave what remains for the alien, the fatherless, and the widow. Remember that you were slaves in Egypt. That is why I command you to do this. God's commands are for our good. If we followed his rules and commands, if we followed the principles laid down in this book, what a wonderful world this would be. Wouldn't have to have locks on your door. Everybody would be responsible. Nobody would want what you have. No coveting, no stealing, no raping, no murdering, no lying, no cheating. What a gorgeous world we'd be in. It is because we are breaking the laws of God that our lives are becoming upset, that we are experiencing the pain and sorrow, sickness of the world. God wants to deliver us from all of that. I pray today that you will experience that deliverance, by accepting Jesus into your heart, being obedient to his commands, and finding the joy that comes in living as God wants us to live. Thank you for being with me and Jesus Christ for another video Bible study.